Supreme Chancellor Obi-Wan Kenobi by Stone Freak. Chapter 55. Anakin makes his decision. Ahsoka reacts. The past and the present blurs together. Anakin can hardly breathe through it. Too many thoughts crowd inside his head, and the more he tries to sort himself out, the more of the past he remembers and the more fears for the future it brings up. Obi-Wan could be dying right the second, far away without Anakin even getting to be there. At least when Mom died, Anakin was there, comforting her in her last moments. At least he got to see her one more time. But Obi-Wan could die without Anakin never ever seeing him again. Try to breathe. Breathe, Badkin Skywalker. Anakin. The familiar voices superimposed on each other makes him shudder. One gone since many years, and one possibly disappearing soon. It isn't fair. Why does he have to lose everyone? Absolutely everyone important goes away. He's losing them one by one. What if he loses Ahsoka or Padme next? Now be brave. Don't look back. Don't look back. The thought, coupled with the memory of his mother, sent him spiraling, his breathing choking up as tears start forcing their way out of his clenched shut eyes, running down his cheeks, even as he scrubs them away harshly. Do you need a moment, Padawan Skywalker? He shudders and tries to bring up training from long ago, training he'd hoped he'd never need again. He should be better. He should be fine. How can he be a Jedi if he cannot control himself? Is Other address you? His memories are fragmenting under the strain of his stress. He tries not to remember her. She's gone, lost, just like Mom, forever beyond his reach. Count your breaths, Anakin. It can help you focus. 1, 2, 3, 4. He shudders. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's not helping. It's not helping. How is he supposed to do this? This isn't fair! Suddenly, rage explodes in his chest, and Anakin finds himself on his feet, breaths rasping out of him in huffs as he starts hurling his datapads around the room with the Force. It isn't fair! Palpatine always agreed that it wasn't, that it was a shame, that it always happened to be Anakin, who lost people. He can't stand it. It always felt like after she died, no one else ever understood his grief, his loss. They just spoke of accepting change, understanding that nothing could ever bring those lost back. As long as you remember, they aren't truly lost. Useless blathering, isn't it? His memories of his mother are not his mother. It doesn't matter if he remembers his mother, if he remembers her, or if he remembers Obi-Wan. They'd still be gone. He still can't talk to them, still can't have them close to him anymore. It doesn't matter how many good memories he has of them if he cannot make more good memories with them. They're gone. Take it from him. Memories are nothing but pale imitations. Useless. Padme will understand. If he goes back home, if he does, she'll understand. It's why he loves her so much. She understands in a way the rest of the Jedi don't seem to anymore. They have their grief counseling and then they're just fine, as if nothing has changed, as if someone isn't gone, as if a hole hasn't been ripped into the world where they once used to be. Palpatine mentioned once that it would be so nice if you could just use the Force to stop death from happening. The Force is supposed to come from life, isn't it? So wouldn't it be better if no one died? If everyone just stayed? If no one ever had to lose anyone? If no one ever died, that would just make the Force stronger, better, wouldn't it? If life is the Force, then the Force is life, right? You cannot stop the flow of time, Anakin. Mr. Qui-Gon said Anakin was the chosen one. He's never believed it, especially since no one else has ever discussed it with him since. No one has ever put much stock in the prophecy Master Qui-Gon spoke of, so Anakin never has either. But what if Mr. Qui-Gon was right? What if Anakin is the chosen one? Maybe that means maybe he can do it? Maybe he's the only one who can? Maybe the Jedi have hidden away the knowledge of how to use the Force to save lives and stop death because they're all too weak to do it. But Anakin is strong. Maybe he can? He shudders again. He shouldn't be thinking like this. It won't help anyway. Even if there is a way, there's no doubt the Jedi would keep it under heavy guard for a reason. Perhaps there's another explanation beyond the lack of sheer strength for why they wouldn't resurrect someone. or stop them from dying in the first place. He knows the other Jedi grieve too. He's seen it. In Obi-Wan? In her? He's even seen it in Master Yoda. Peace, Anakin. There's no shame in your emotions. She used to say that. So why is it that he always feels like everyone else judges him for them? Even Palpatine noticed that early on. If even a Force-blind person can tell that they're side-eyeing him for feeling so much, then they're being obvious about it. They've been trying to shame him into feeling less. He just knows it. Palpatine has always worried about it because of it. Everyone feels, Anakin. It is as natural as the Force itself. But as a Jedi, you mustn't let your emotions control you, overwhelm you. You cannot control what you feel, but you can control how you react to what you're feeling. That is the key. Do not be ashamed of your emotions. We all have them, and we all live with them. That must have been a lie, or she was just wrong. He knows that can happen. Obi-Wan used to say that not even masters know everything. Not even Master Yoda. Clearly some of them must not feel, because he's seen some of the masters she used to call friends, and they never even seemed to be sad after she was gone. No. Breathe. Get it together, Anakin. This isn't the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Obi-Wan could die. He could be gone from the Force. Just gone. Just like Mom. Just like her. It doesn't seem real. Obi-Wan has always felt a bit larger than life, as if nothing could ever get him down. He was inside an exploding spaceport and came out of it with no injuries beyond ruined clothes. And that was only because he ruined them himself to help children. How could an explosion do this to him? Is it a lie? Is it fake? Is it really just a test? Will they fail him, revoke his knighthood and take Ahsoka from him? Maybe make her another Jedi's Padawan? They can't. That's not how it's done. He's just being paranoid.
Oh, my dear boy, it does hurt my heart to see how little they seem to trust in you and your abilities.
Anakin grinds his teeth together, anger surging in his chest again. His breathing turns harsh and a glass shatters somewhere to his left. They would test him if they thought they could get rid of him that way. And with Obi-Wan hurt, and Palpatine no longer Chancellor, there's no one to stop them. They could throw him out, make him leave his second home, take everything he's worked for, everything he left his mother for, away from him in a moment. Is Obi-Wan in on it? Obi-Wan is on the council. Maybe before he can lose himself to the doubt and the rage, however, he remembers that time in the Chancellor's office, surrounded by plants and the living Force singing around him. He remembers Obi-Wan's utter sincerity. He remembers the feeling of how upset he was to realize that Anakin thought he didn't care. No, Obi-Wan wouldn't help the council if they want to throw him out. He wouldn't. Breathe in, breathe out. It can't be a test. The council wouldn't do that to him, to Ahsoka, to the entire 501st. They wouldn't. He wants to run back to the temple. He doesn't want to lose Obi-Wan without at least having the chance to say goodbye. He's not sure he could handle it. And Ahsoka, his Padawan, she's so young. They wouldn't do this to her. Sending her to war is beyond their ability to stop. He knows as much from what he's overheard Obi-Wan talk with other council members about. They abhor the war. They find it an anathema to everything the Jedi stand for. But they cannot leave, both legally and morally. If the Jedi leave their duty and sit on their hands, how many others will die in their stead? He's heard the topic discussed in the halls of the temple 1,000,000 times. A moral dilemma with no real solution. Fight a war to stop systems with legitimate grievances from leaving the Republic, or let innocents die in the same unstoppable war by doing nothing. How could they even do nothing when they are under the Senate jurisdiction and the Senate drafted them into the war? In the end, they suffer, carrying a burden too heavy for the few shoulders made to shoulder it. Younger and younger shoulders. Master Windu told him to consider Ahsoka when making his decision. As her master, His duty is to her above everything else. That's what Obi-Wan used to say. And she will suffer when she gets the news she will not be at her best. She will risk even further harm in the field, just like Anakin. To himself, he can admit that he's not at his best. He's not thinking clearly or well. He can't center himself. If he takes them in a battle like this, they may die. In the end, there's no choice, is there? He nearly cries from the rage and the relief the thought sends through him. If it's a test, and going back to Coruscant means failing, then his duty as Ahsoka's master requires him to fail. It gives him a reason beyond wanting to see Obi-Wan, wanting to be there should he die. They'll go back to Coruscant. There's nothing else they can do. Ahsoka watches the holotable, making notes about their finalized plan of attack when Anakin finally returns. He's been gone for hours for something that shouldn't have taken that long. Or did the holocall really take several hours? If so, it must have been very important. She taps her foot against the floor, nervous energy shooting through her body. It's as if every nerve is on edge waiting for something, as if she subconsciously expects something to happen. Perhaps it's the Force? Ahsoka, I need to talk to you about the holocall.
Oh boy, that can't be good.
Did something happen, Master? In the back of Ahsoka's mind, she replays the incident with the Force crying out. The memory sends a shiver down her spine. She's never felt anything like it before and hopes she never will again. Come, we should have this conversation in private. Anakin nods to Rex before he heads off, certain Ahsoka will follow. She has to half jog to keep up with his long strides as he moves down the ship halls in a hurry. His hands are clasped behind his back, but his fingers are fidgeting. All of it makes anxiety churn in Ahsoka's stomach. This must be really bad. He ushers her into a private meeting room and she takes a seat by the table unprompted. If he wants her in here, then he probably wants her to sit down too. He takes the seat next to her rather than on the opposite side of the table. Ahsoka swallows nervously and starts to fidget herself, though she keeps her breathing deep and even. In, out. Stable breathing means calm. Calm is good. The holocall came from Master Windu on behalf of the Council. Oh, that really can't be good. So something did happen then. She bites her lip. Anakin nods, his face grim. There was an explosion at the Senate. He doesn't meet her eyes. Obi-Wan was caught in the explosion. He almost chokes on the words. The words don't make sense at first. She stares at Anakin wordlessly and waits. Master Obi-Wan? Explosion? No, that can't be true. What? She says, voice strained and breathy. It almost hurts to force the word out. Anakin closes his eyes and draws a deep, shuddering breath. Oh no. They're not sure if he's going to make it. No, that can't be. He's Master Obi-Wan. She realizes that she's shaking her head in denial as she stares at her master. It can't be true. He can't. He was teaching her Dark High just recently. He was healthy, fine. How can it be an explosion? Master Windu asked if we would be continuing the mission or return to Coruscant. I have decided that we'll be returning to Coruscant. It's best for you. No, I'm fine! We don't have to abort the mission! She says, voice shrill and startles. She knows she can do it. She'll be fine. Yes, she's upset, but she can do it! Anakin's eyebrows draw together and his mouth turns down. I've already decided, Ahsoka. His tone is sharp. Neither of us will be at our best, and it's a bigger risk for us, our men, and the war effort to have us do it. Master Undali is in a nearby system and will take over. But I'll be fine, Master! She will be. She can do it. She knows she can. She doesn't want to go back to Coruscant. That would mean that she'd have nothing to do with thinking. She doesn't want to think. Not about this. No,
He finally meets her gaze, and he is angry. She can tell it by the look on his face and the feel of the force around him. But he's also afraid. Very afraid. She opens her mouth to argue, but finds that she has no words.
Yes, Master,
she concedes. If he's already decided. She swallows. A warm hand settles on her shoulder and squeezes gently.
I know this is hard, Ahsoka, but it's for the best. You'll see.
She nods, even though she's not sure if she believes him.
Rex is telling the rest of the men, so if you want to be alone to think about it, you can go to your room.
She stares at him, but slowly nods her head. She doesn't really want to be alone right now, but it might be for the best if she is, just so she can deal with it. Think things through. As she walks down the hall towards her room on the ship, the memory of an uneasy feeling at seeing Master Obi-Wan walk away from her suddenly rears its ugly head within her, and a heavy lump forms in her throat. She had felt something. She stops in the middle of the hallway, luckily a deserted one, and tries to think. She had felt something, an itch in the back of her head, a sense of unease entirely focused on Master Obi-Wan. But she dismissed it. She thought it a flight of fancy, nothing to be bothered with. She disregarded what her feelings were telling her. Search your feelings. What do your emotions tell you? Moves through us all, the Force does. Sensations, prescience can be. Sense the future all Jedi have the potential to. She blinks hard and feels tears start to gather. Master Obi-Wan. He can't be. He's like Anakin, larger than life, seemingly untouchable. He can't be! This can't be real, and if it is it her fault? She felt something, but she ignored it, despite having been taught her entire life to trust her feelings. Would that make this her fault? No, that's silly to think, isn't it? Just because she felt someone and didn't tell anyone, not even Master Obi-Wan himself, doesn't make it her fault that no one did anything to stop it, right? Her lack of preventative action isn't the same as being guilty of causing the action. Blaming her for it would be illogical. No one would do that. Right? But if that's true, why does guilt bubble in her gut? Why does it feel like it's her fault? Maybe she could have stopped it. Maybe she could have saved Master Obi-Wan. She trembles.